Здравствуйте, молодые люди, which means greetings, young people. My name is Olya, and I am an artist with Olya's Creations. I wear many different hats, and I also teach paint night classes. Something that's been kind of on my mind and tossed around was to start doing these virtual classes. The goal is to make what I do more accessible to more people. I hope that it's something that you enjoy. I hope that it inspires you. I hope you have fun, most of all, most importantly of all. So let's get to it. I'm going to turn the camera around and I'll bring all my supplies and materials out, and we're gonna make something really cool. Hello everybody. So we're all set up. I'm gonna go over my setup and then we're gonna dive right in and get started. So if you want to skip this part, you can just fast forward and I'll display the timestamp of what spot you want to go to. So as you can see, I'm not using a fancy setup. I have brown craft paper that I have laid out, which could simply be a brown grocery bag. I have some napkins, I have my paint, water, brushes of varying sizes, and a pencil. I like a lot of flat brushes, and I do have a couple skinny round ones. And then paint, I'm using Folk Art paint. You can use any brand, but this is craft paint. It's available at Walmart for $1 something a container. It has 2 ounces. This will be enough for the whole family and then some. So I have eggplant for purple, wicker white for white, cobalt blue, which if I run out, I'm gonna use some Look at Me blue. I have some custard lemon, some red apple, and bark brown for the brown. Now you could use any brand, any color. You don't have to do the colors I'm doing, and if you're doing a more natural looking horse and not a unicorn, then you can use whatever colors you would like. So that is what I have for materials. Oh yeah, and a mason jar lid. So this is going to come in handy in sketching out our design. We're not going to draw the whole thing. You don't even have to draw it with a pencil. You can dive right into the painting portion of it. But because I know have lots of kiddos that are doing this, I want to show you step by step and make it super simple that mom and dad could even help draw it out, and the kids could then later jump in at a certain point and start painting it. So using my lid, the lid's gonna help me figure out where to put things. And I'm gonna start out by making some marks. So I don't wanna make the head of my unicorn too low because then the horn will go off the page. If you're doing a horse, you don't have to worry about that at all. So anyway, I'm gonna start from the top, and I'm just gonna find the edge of my paper and make a little mark, and I'm using the inside of the mason jar by placing it upside down. Make a couple marks that way. I have a nice little, line if I was to connect the two. And then I'll use the jar, the right side down, and do the same thing on the right hand side. So now I have a little corner of where I'm going to start. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my first circle down, and again, flip the jar upside down and using the inside, not the outside. And I'm gonna draw a circle. And then I'm going to do the second one. Now I'm not doing it side to side, I'm doing it at a slight angle. Not all the way parallel, but just a little bit, not all the way, diagonal, but kind of just above it. So see, they're connecting, okay? And this is basically, my first step was gonna be to draw a heart, but not everybody can do a heart. So I figured I wanted to take you through step by step. And then you're going to find the top where those 2 circles meet, make a little dot, line that up, and make a little dot at the bottom. And you're gonna make a very fat heart. You're gonna connect those 2, okay? Now you can erase that inside. You don't need that anymore. Now you have the most perfect heart. So you can use this for Valentine's Day and make perfect hearts. So there's your little heart. So then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make another mark using the inside of your mason jar, and the easiest way of doing it is to flip it again down. Okay, there's your other mark. And then you're going to create the nose of the unicorn. It looks kind of silly right now, but trust me. So on the bottom, where this little dot is, you're first going to make an upside down parenthesis, and then you're going to make two more parentheses, one going this way, two going that way, okay? And then you're going to connect that with your heart, and you're going to do the same thing with this, except you're going to create some humps. So you're going to go down, you're going to go back up. Instead of making a straight line, you're going to go back up, and you're going to make a little hump or a parenthesis, and then you're going to make another one. The nice thing about pencils is you can erase. So there we go. Actually, I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. There we go. All right, and then you're going to create a line right into there. That is your unicorn's mouth. And you go back to your section over here, and you're going to draw a circle. You don't want your circle to go past the mouth. And draw a circle, but then you're going to turn that circle into a number 9. Okay? And just cleaning up my line. Okay, so then you're going to draw a little hat on that number 9, like a little upside down parenthesis, and you're going to connect that with the bottom of your heart, and then you're going to do another parenthesis on the left side. The key is you don't want to go all the way over there. Sorry, you want to stop short of there. And then the other one, you're going to go swing wide, but you're going to connect all the way to the top of your heart, okay? And so in here, you're going to do a W in the middle, and then you're going to extend the left side of your W and do a parenthesis on the inside. You're going to turn that into like a football shape. That is your unicorn's eyeball. Then you're going to take the bottom side and bring it all the way in to the center of the heart. And you're going to do the same thing with that. Okay? And then you're going to see this line right here that you had made? You're going to take it and erase the bottom of the heart, and this line that you made over here, you leave that, but you erase the other bottom of your heart. This is all looking funky, but trust me, okay? And then you're going to connect those two, okay? And now we're gonna make your horn. So for your horn, a little trick for a ruler, I sometimes will use another brush. So you're gonna pick out where your horn's gonna go. Let's make a long horn. We'll make the horn go all the way out to here. And then you're going to make 2 dots on the top of your unicorn's head, and you're going to connect the dots. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other one. Okay, we're going to work on this. This is just getting us started and laying things out, okay? Oh, one more thing I almost forgot. On this side, you're going to do another parenthesis, and then you're going to go the other way. So it's kind of like a little wavy line. So this is the chest of the unicorn, and that's going into the upper thigh of the unicorn. So and this can be a horse, doesn't have to be a unicorn. All right, so now we're going to get started with the painting part of it. I'm moving a few things around so I can remember what I wanted to do. I'm starting out with a red. If you're doing a horse and not a unicorn, you would skip this part and you would just use brown and different natural colors. You can get as creative as you want. You can do purple, you can do yellow, whatever strikes your heart. Okay, so now I'm going to take my brush, dip it into some water, and I'm gonna mix the red and the white, and I'm gonna make pink. But I'm gonna make it kind of a dark pink. There we go. I want to make sure that you can see. I'm going to start by tracing. And if your paint gets dry, you just add a little bit of water to it. I'm going to start by tracing. Kind of like the outside lines of my unicorn. When I get to this part, I keep going. The reason why we sketched it on, like I said, isn't because we're going to be sticking to this perfectly, but just to help us out. So now on this upper part, we're going to start around the eye, and we're just going to create a nice thick line, and then we're going to color this little section in right here. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to make it into a nice thick line. Paint the inside of our funky W shape. Okay, and then this little section that's over here, we're going to paint that in too. If you accidentally get paint in an area that you didn't intend to have paint, don't fret, just let it dry, and as soon as it's dry, you'll be able to go in, and change it. So now the unicorn's gonna have an ear. So right here, we're going to create an ear. We're gonna paint it in. And there'll be another ear. On this other side. Now we are going to grab a little bit of blue. And you can use another color if you'd like, but I'm gonna go ahead and do some blue. I'm gonna paint the eyeball in. And then I'm going to paint the nostril in. There we go. And I'm going to draw a little line in the ear. Kind of paint the center in. And if you mix pink and blue, you're going to get kind of a purplish color. So kind of wanted it to be sort of blendy. Okay. I'm gonna grab a larger brush. And I'm going to take some of the dark pink and create a little area right here. Paint that in. Okay. So now while all this pink stuff is drying, we're gonna go ahead and figure out the color we want for our unicorn's horn. I'm gonna use some yellow. And I'm gonna take yellow, put a little bit of red into it, make it kind of an orangey yellow, and just add a little bit of white to it. Just to make it a little bit brighter. Everything that we do in layers. So this is our first layer to the horn. It's not done yet. It's gonna get a little bit of detailing in there. Get kind of close to the very bottom. Now I'm going to grab some light purple. And we're gonna work on the mane of the unicorn. I'm gonna start with purple, white, a little bit of red into it. And I'm gonna actually paint in front. And then create some of the hair behind, or the mane behind it. And if you want your purple to be a little bit darker, add a little blue into it. And then this is the first layer of the mane. I'm going to add more colors, more layers. And you're kind of going almost straight across. This is the back of the unicorn. It's tilting its head. And it's okay if you go off the paper because you've taken the time to tape up your edges. I'm just going to keep painting in, add a little bit white to my purple. And the reason for that is it makes it less see-through. And this is the base layer of my mane. All the way down. This unicorn has a very long mane. And what I'm doing is I'm mixing blue and red into my purple because I want a little bit of dimension. I don't want it to be like a very monotone color. I want lots of colors in there, even for my base layer. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry before we do anything else to it. And while it's drying, we're gonna take a smaller brush. We're gonna make a really light pink, like very light pink. And the way you make light pink is you add more white to your pink color, or you just take a little bit of red and lots of white. And you're gonna color the inside white areas and just sort of treat it like a coloring book. You can use a larger brush if you feel comfortable with it. I like to use smaller brushes for smaller areas. And it doesn't have to be absolutely like perfectly within your lines. The lines that you drew on were just guides. You could change them. And I'm gonna blend this in a little bit more later on. Right now I'm just covering up all of the white space. And if you run out of pink paint, you make some more. Now I'm taking dark pink and I'm just kind of blending it into the upper area of the unicorn, and I'm just smoothing out those lines a little bit because it doesn't have to be a perfect line. And I'm intentionally kind of smoothing that out and just making sure that no pencil is visible. I am, however, going to go over my outer lines of my unicorn. Okay, now before we get, I'm gonna touch up my eyeball and my nose. So before I get too far, I'm gonna paint the outside and then I'm gonna do the mane and all the other fun details. So for the outside, I'm actually gonna use my Look at Me blue. I'm gonna mix it with some white and I'm gonna create a smorgasbord of colors. So we're gonna let that dry a little bit. And while it's drying, we're gonna work on other parts of our unicorn. And so I'm gonna go back to my purple and I'm gonna add some white to it. And I'm gonna start working on my unicorn's bangs. Start giving it dimension. And it's okay to overlap on the blue parts. In fact, you want to do that. Make sure you go in front of the ear and then give her some volume. And you make these little they're almost like little wavy lines with your paintbrush. And you can go darker, lighter. I'm doing purple because I thought that would be fun. And you could do whatever strikes your imagination. And to blend, you clean all your paint off of your brush and just use water. Now I'm going to take a little bit of light pink and add a little bit of detailing inside the ear. Touch up that other ear because it kind of disappeared. All these little things that we're doing right now are just adding fun little details to our unicorn. You can do whatever you like. Now you don't have to do all this that I'm doing with the blending and doing the colors in this particular way. I would say this is only if you want to. All right, now I think I can start on the horn. I refreshed my color. Now I'm going to create little humps. And basically it's a parenthesis on the top and a parenthesis on the bottom, a line down the middle. A parenthesis on the top, parenthesis in the middle, a parenthesis on the bottom, and line down the middle. And as you get closer to the tip, they get smaller and smaller until they're kind of like, just like little dots or circles. And then you're going to take yellow and do little yellow dots on the little ones that you can't see. And you're going to fill in. And I'm just using a dotting motion. With yellow. And the reason why we just didn't do straight yellow is because we wanted a little bit of dimension. The first time we did orange. And so now that our blue background should be dry, I want some sparkles. So I'm gonna take yellow and do little dots, tiny little dots around the horn. And I'm gonna do more dots closer to the unicorn and less dots and more spaced out dots the further away from it. The key is make sure they're not in a straight line or anything. Now, if you want to bedazzle your unicorn's mane, a fun little thing that you could do is you could take pink, make it a really light pink, and you do the same thing, little sparkles to your unicorn's mane, especially the areas where you have a lot of the light purple color, or just anywhere. Add a little bit of red sparkles or a dark pink. I'm adding a little bit of white. They're just itty bitty little dots. And because we have some blue in there, I think we need to put some blue into her mane just to make it pop. Lots of sparkles. Just do some blue ones on the outskirts. She's just glowing all over. It's a very glittery unicorn. I'm just adding a little bit of white sparkles to her horn. There it is. And there is our happy little unicorn. So I hope you have fun. I want to see your unicorns. You can make them different colors. If you take the horn out, you'll have a horse. You can make the mane different. You could angle the head differently, but it's just a fun little evening activity you can do this weekend, and I would love to see it. Thank you guys for painting with me.